This is part of apprenticeship days. We had one previously about 2 weeks ago on a Monday. This is the rest of the speakers for today. And this is sixth period, of course. So what this is about is we're looking at other types of education after high school. And we always say college, college, college. However, there's a lot of different programs, whether they're certificate programs, whether they're apprenticeship programs, things like that. And there's a lot of technical training you can get after high school that isn't 4 years in length, and where you can come out and get a pretty good job, or at least get started. There's no reason you can't start in technical trade and then go back and complete your college education later. I mean, it's not an or thing, it's an and thing. Anyways, with that, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Chavez here at MiraCosta TCI, and she's going to run you through what MiraCosta TCI is all about.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Yep.
If you can, Stephen, if you can just confirm that you can see it.
Yep, looks great.
All right, perfect. Okay, guys, so just like Stephen was saying, I'm here to just give you other options, right? So the way we see education is pathways. You get on, you get a degree or a certificate of some sort, you get off, you go back and you earn some money, you come back on, and we're just kind of part in one of those paths that you could possibly take, right? So we are a part of MiraCosta College. Our particular department is the community education and workforce development. So we very much focus on work skills, right? So just like he was saying, the trade side, where we can really get you in, get you trained, and get you out in the workforce as quickly as possible, right? So what we do here is basically all students of walks of life. It could be right out of high school, all the way up through people transitioning out of the military, or even changing their careers. So we have everything in between. And it's a place where people tend to flourish, especially if they're a hands-on kinesthetic type of learner. All right. So TCI stands for Technology Career Institute. Our main focus is career training certificates. So this is not for credit, very much certificate based. The other thing we do is very much short-term and hands-on training. When I say short-term, it's not less than, right? So if you think of a 2-year AA degree, right, that takes a 2-year time frame for you to achieve. But what we do is we crunch that down into a very much accelerated fashion, because most of our programs, especially on the approved apprentice side and the manufacturing side, are accelerated in the format of you're here a lot more than you would be in a credit program, right? And you'll see that in our schedules, and I'll point that out. And so that 2 years, 600 hours, that takes you 2 years. For us, it'll take you 21 weeks or less, right? So it's not less than, it's just more time given in a shorter amount of time. Now, when we develop new programs, we develop them around active labor markets. And what that basically means is if there's not a need at the end of our program for a job, we don't like to supply that program, right? We're very, very much workforce driven, which means there has to be jobs at the end of our programs for you to go and get, right? And that's how we develop new programs. The other thing is we're fee-based and not for credit, right? So don't come here thinking you're going to take a class and then leverage those credits per se into getting an AA or a university or something like a degree of some sort. It's not for credit, so you can't transfer these, all right? Now I'm going to just kind of go through some of our main, what we call core programs. And when I say core program, that basically means it's embedded with soft skills, hard skills, and that's all driven by our industry partners. So each one of our programs have what we call advisory board meetings. They help us develop the curriculum. They help us change and evolve the curriculum as we go. So we meet with our advisory boards 2 to 3 times per year, depending on the program, and they push everything we do. So the one thing that industry partners love about TCI is we are able to pivot and adjust and be flexible for that, right? Being not for credit, we are able to listen to our advisory boards and then adjust our curriculums, and able to do that even though we're still accredited under MiraCosta. The one step that we don't have to do is go all the way to the chancellor's office and back, which saves a lot of time. So for a credit program, they have to change their curriculum, send it all the way to the chancellor's office, and then return back, right? in addition to their own governing bodies within their own school. For us, and that's probably a 2-year process for them. For us, we do it in-house. We go through our own governing boards to make sure, and we listen to the industry partners, and that's why they like us. We're keeping up with what they're doing, and so we're consistently developing employees that are going to be very functional and hopefully provide them good services once they complete, right? So in the manufacturing field is where we mainly focus right now. So machinist technology, that machining program is 487 hours long, is 21 weeks, and it's 21 weeks from 3 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. So you're looking at being in class 24 hours a week, right? And that's that accelerated fashion that we talked about. So we get you in, we get you trained, and we get you out in the workforce as quickly as possible. Heavy hands-on, right? So what our motto is here is very little theory, and then it's kind of sink or swim time. Go out there and apply this knowledge. Go out there and troubleshoot as you go through. So our goal is to develop quality employees that have good, strong soft skills, as well as hard skills, and that they're going to be productive once they get on the floor, right? Most of our programs include lean training, OSHA training, like I said, soft skills, and we treat you like employees here. You clock in, you clock out. You're constantly working on your communication skills, any projects, because it's a lot of lab-based driven, right? You have to make these 3 pieces for machining, right? If you're not hitting your deadlines, then that shows that you're not able to do time management and organization. So it's with all of our industry partners, we tell all of our students, they contact us, and we give true, honest references with our students. So I can pull up data on our students and say, yeah, they were here 100% of the time. They were always on time, and they always hit their marks with turning in their projects. And that just says very high quality soft skills in a person, right? And then we also include career readiness training, which is a couple days, 2 to 3 days out of your program, where you work on your interviews, you work on your resume, you understand communication skills, you understand business ethics. So there's a lot of things that are embedded in our program. And all those soft skills were definitely driven by our industry partners. At first, we didn't think about including soft skills in our programs, but then our advisory boards really pushed the soft skills. So then we started embedding it, and that's the number one thing they're looking for with references for us. So that's our machinist technology. A machinist obviously takes a material and makes pieces and parts. It could go on your skateboard all the way to in a human body, right? So it just depends on everything you see around you. Most likely has some sort of machine part in it, right? It could be a manual side, or it could also be the CNC side, which is computer numerical control, right? The next program, and machinist technology is an apprenticeship. It's DAS approved and DOL approved. Our engineering technician program, this one's actually 600 hours. Is our fastest program, but our longest in hours, right? So it's done in 15 weeks because these guys go Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Now, this program should actually be called mechatronics, but not a lot of people know what mechatronics is, so it's not very good advertising and marketing. So that's why it's engineering technician. With engineering, you're going to get automation, you're going to get robotics, you're going to get mechanical, electrical, hydraulics, robotic, a little bit of everything under the engineering field, right? So we very much scratch the surface, but it opens a lot of doors, right? So you might come in and say, I'm really into robotics, and then all of a sudden you get to the portion that's mechanical and you fall in love, and all of a sudden your path changes, right? So it's a very cool area to kind of dip your toes in a little bit of everything to figure out what your path looks like, right? Again, it does the career readiness side, it embeds the soft skills. This is probably the highest employment rate we have. It's probably about 95% employment rate. Machining is right around 87%. And then retention rate on this is also 95%. And with machining, it's probably around 88%. Right. So once you get in, it's pretty easy to get jobs out of our program. And we also make sure you stay in. We surround you by support. We have very small cohort sizes. It's only 16 to 18 students per cohort. So we really get to know our students. And when it's only 15 to 21 weeks, the light is at the end of the tunnel, right? It's not a 2-year or a 4-year process like a degree. It's more of like, hey, all I have to do is finish this last 2 weeks. And how can I do that? right? And then when you come and talk to us, we try to support you through those last 2 weeks or last month or whatever it is, because all we want you to do is achieve, right? The next one is called a biomedical equipment technician. So this one, engineering technician, you get a little bit of everything. You can go in multiple different paths. This one is very specific to medical equipment, right? So what they're doing is troubleshooting, problem solving, preventative maintenance on medical equipment, right? This program is 440 hours. It's 18 weeks long. And this should actually be Friday, sorry. They go Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 2 p.m., right? Again, OSHA 10's included. A lot of our programs really focus on troubleshooting and problem solving, because at the level that you're going to finish through here, that's the quality that you're looking for. If you can problem solve and be flexible, that's what our industry partners are looking for. So lots of troubleshooting, problem solving. You're going to get a little bit of anatomy, biology, and then how do the machines work on the body, right? You're going to need to know a little bit of that to be a good quality biomedical equipment technician, also known as a BMAT. Again, 18 weeks long, 8:30 to 2 p.m., Monday through Friday. Get you in, get you trained, and get you out. So another one would be our unmanned systems operator. So if you're into drones or underwater vehicles, anything unmanned, right? That's what you're going to learn in this program. It's 120 hours. It's 21 weeks long, and they're in class Monday through Thursday evenings from 3 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Again, you're going to get the technician side. How do I troubleshoot and problem solve? How do I get this drone? I'm in the middle of the desert. I'm in Yuma or wherever it might be. How do I get my drone back in the air as quickly as possible to finish the project? So you'll get the technician side, the troubleshooting and the problem solving. You'll also get the prep for the FAA 107, and you're going to get some stick time to enhance your operation skills as well, right? OSHA 10 is included. You'll get some ROV, underwater type of stick time as well, and then focus on that FAA 107 to get your pilot's license. Welding. So welding's 132 hours, can be done during the weekday evenings. It can also be done on a Saturday or a Sunday. It runs many times throughout the year. It's one of our shorter programs. It's only 132 hours. And this is not just a certificate through TCI. It's called the AWS certificate as well, which is the industry standard for welding. So you would achieve that if you pass all the tests. You'll get some blueprint reading. You'll get the shielded melted arc welding, gas metal and flux welding, as well as plasma and arc cutting, right? So if you pass everything, you do get the AWS in that. The cool thing about some of these programs is they're called what we call a stackable, right? So if you're looking at starting as an engineering technician, but you come up with an amazing idea and you want to be able to prototype it or fabricate it, make it from nothing to something, then you can do stackable, right? So you could take our engineering technician, which is more of the design work and the troubleshooting and the problem solving. How do I make it work? The machining, you could take the machinist course where I now make my own parts, and then the welding, which will actually put it all together, right? So that's full fabrication or prototyping capability, right? Which we have here at TCI. And that can all be done in a year, right? So you got about 1,300 hours of training, and it's so accelerated that you could do those 1,300 hours in 1 year, which is pretty cool. So a little summary about our programs. We kind of talked a little bit about numbers. We've trained over 690 students, between 75 and 95% employment rate, depending on the program, right? Between 85% and 95% retention rate. So once you're in, we do our best to not let you go. We want you to complete and we want you to be successful. You can start anywhere, depending on the program, from 15 all the way up to $30 an hour. Right. So that really depends on your background, how well you interview, all of those things. So it really depends on you and which program that you're picking. Right. So some of our industry partners are on there as well. So besides manufacturing, so all the approved apprenticeship programs, we just kind of went through. That's engineering, that's machining are the two approved apprenticeships. The rest of them are kind of towards the manufacturing side. Now we're outside. We have some kind of non-manufacturing courses that I just wanted to run through with you guys. So that way you see there's other options. So we got phlebotomy technician that runs Monday, Wednesday, and Friday evenings from 5 to 8:30 p.m. And that also includes an 80-hour externship from the program, right? This is where you draw blood, right? You're going to learn some customer relations, as well as anatomy and physiology, skin punctures, infection control. All of that will be included within the training. Another one, if you're not into manufacturing, would be our vet assistant program. That's typically 12 Saturdays. It runs from 9 to 4:30. You have an optional 80-hour externship if you would like, and it's a full 80 hours of training, right? Again, we are at this point for most of our programs, especially the manufacturing side, essential, and we are providing a lot of these face-to-face actually. So safety, front desk, pet owner care, how to assist with surgical and treatment procedures. So if you love animals, this might be a good path to start with. Another one that we just adopted from our credit side is massage therapy. So this one's 500 hours. It's Monday through Friday, 1 to 7 p.m. and Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is completed in one semester. So again, a very short term. You're going to get to know body mechanics, health and hygiene, deep tissue massage, sport massage, legal and ethical standards that you have to abide by, anatomy, physiology. You also get some Swedish massage. So this is a very good, quick way to possibly even develop your own business or even go and work for a center of some sort. Real estate license program is another one that would be quick. It can be done in a semester as well. It's 150 hours of training. It's live stream right now, so they're not face-to-face. It goes Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6:30 to 9 and 2 Saturdays per class, right? So each one, so there's 3 classes, so 6 Saturdays in total. And those Saturdays run from 8:30 to 4:30 p.m. So again, all 3 classes can be done in 4 months. You'll get the principles, the practice, and the finances and economics behind real estate. And then they'll prep you for your test as well, because there is a test at the end of that to be a licensed real estate agent. And then the fun one, the scuba instructor program, right? This one is very, very heavy. So it's 1,033 hours. It's open entry, open exit. That means it's kind of self-paced, but you got to get it done in 1 year. It gets you all the way through to an instructor status, which does a lot of one-offs or side programs in addition to what's listed here. But you have your open water, your advanced open water, then you go into rescue, and then your dive master. And all of these are based on how often you're diving too. So if you're not good with the water, this is not the program for you, because you have to get at least 100 dives before you're certified as an instructor. All right. Okay, so those are the programs. Now we used to be on America's Promise grant, which is supposed to end December 2020, which actually waived all of our manufacturing tuitions. Now, due to COVID, we are able to extend that America's Promise grant through June 2021 for 3 programs: our machinist program, our BrewTech program, and our unmanned systems program are the 3 that are still going to be tuition free and only an admin fee of $350, right? So if those are 3 that you're interested in, I would suggest trying to get into the spring program, because it's only $350. After that, it's going to go back to full price. The other programs are all going back to full price, right? That being said, some of the student payments, because we are fee-based, would be cash, check, credit, right? There's some other options too, like VA funding. Like if you had a parent that was in the military, that they could transfer some post 9/11 benefits to you and possibly pay for the program. Sally Mae loan is another option. WIOA is also your local career center, which is there's one in Oceanside that might be able to help out too. And then also your age group is perfect for interfaith funding as well, right? So interfaith funding will cover all the tuitions and fees. It's targeted for 17-year-olds to 24-year-olds. And if you're interested in leveraging that benefit, you can contact Carrie and she'll connect you with Interfaith and our particular contact at Interfaith Services.
Yeah, I think one of the things to really emphasize is that this is not something you're going to get student loan type of financial aid for. So it's not a FAFSA thing. But don't let that stop you. There are a lot of different options out there, like the interfaith funding and things like that. The key thing is if you're interested in any of these programs, make sure you call up MiraCosta TCI and they may be able to find something for you that can cover part of the costs.
Well, and I was also going to go through the ROI because I've been now going off the grant, just thinking on the bigger picture of, you know, why would I pay $6,000 if I can go get my AA, and it might take 2 years, but I can get my AA. And the return of investment on a program of something similar to ours is you're going from most likely possibly minimum wage to the average wage that we might be getting out of our programs, or you're going from not working at all to the average wage that we're getting out of our programs, right? So I recently did the return of investment, also known as ROI, for our engineering tech program. Now, our engineering tech students get around $19 to $20 on average after completion of our program, right? So I just did the difference between the, our minimum wage and our ET students, which is about $7 per hour. I extrapolated that from $7 per hour to 40 hours a week to 4.33 weeks in a month. And you could actually pay off the amount of that loan if you go through like Sally Mae or something within 6 months by just the earnings that you made on top of what your regular earnings were, right? And then something like biomedical equipment technician, I just recently did that. Those graduates are looking at more $22 an hour, and you could pay off that type of loan in less than 4 months, actually. So the return of investment, if you think about the time frame and the acceleration of our programs, is getting you from like $12, $13 an hour to about $20 an hour. That's a lot of money for a week's worth of pay, right? And it might be worth it to go ahead and get your foot in the door somewhere, especially like, let's say, for example, in the engineering field, right? If you're, into robotics or something like that, you just want to get in the field, you come take our ET program in the summer, get your foot in the door, you start making a decent wage, you start putting money aside, paying off your loan. And guess what most engineering firms have is tuition reimbursement, right? So then you start tapping into that if you're a good quality employee, which hopefully we're training you how to do. And then you tap into that tuition reimbursement, and that lowers your, your degree, your AA, your, bachelor's and things like that, which is a lot less compared to if you just focused on 4 years and then you're throwing a bunch of money out and not earning a good, decent wage, right? So this type of program gets you in the door, gets you a career path, or at least a foot in the door somewhere, right? Pays off quickly, right? And even during COVID, because we never stopped, we were defined as essential. So we've been training students all through COVID. So I can tell you from the last 2 cohorts of engineering, 22 of our 27 students have been hired, right? During the middle of a pandemic at that. So there is definitely needs for these programs. And when students come and graduate from here, if they do their 2 cents by putting in their putting in their application, doing what we're training them to do, there's jobs definitely out there, right? How to apply if you're interested? Well, you could always just call me, right? And I'll have that in the next screen, all my information. And I can even send this PowerPoint to you, Stephen, that you could share. But this is basically, we have our own student-based system. It's called Apricot. So you would jump on there, fill out the interest form, fill out the application, and depending on what you're doing is the medical form. Then you'll jump into one of our information session, which is kind of similar to what we're doing today, but it breaks down the program a little bit more on the expectation side, just to make sure that you understand what you're going through, right? So we really like to vet our students to make sure that they're prepared to give up 24 to 40 hours of their week. Does their schedule abide by it? Are they really thinking about this? And do they have the support system that can make them be successful, right? So there's a information session, a testing in math and reading, and then a face-to-face interview with one of our staff members, just to make sure they're prepared and ready for a program that's intense as ours. And then at that point, once you get the interview done, you'll get an approval email that says, hey, congratulations, you're one of the 16 we accepted. pay by this date, right? And then you got to make your payments, whether that's, you know, through WIOA, through Interfaith, through Sally Mae, whatever it might be, right? So that's kind of our process to get into our core programs. I also threw in some of the assistance for some resources. So I will definitely get this to Stephen so that way you can get it out and people can prep for some of the testing sessions, because right now is in the middle of when we're testing for spring, right? So if you're interested in joining in spring, right now's the time to start looking at our programs and coming in and interviewing and testing. Right. And so that was kind of a breakdown of all of our programs. So I'll leave this up for a second. I know Stephen was going to check the chat box and see if we have any questions. But yeah.
I had one right off the top, which is for students looking to get in these kind of programs, what are some of the prerequisites they should be taking in high school to prepare themselves?
So to be honest, we say you do not have to have any prereqs besides a GED or a high school diploma. We're very, very good at getting you from 0 to 100, right? That's what our instructors do. Now, that being said, if you have like robotics background or you know how to use tools, you're good at troubleshooting, those are types of things that will help you and show an aptitude towards the program. But in general, besides the GED and high school or high school diploma, there's no other prereqs.
Okay, oh, yeah, go ahead, please.
Oh, how come only 3 of the programs are being financed and not the rest? Like,
because we're almost out of money, so we could only
okay.
3 of the programs. So we have some to spend out, but only enough for 3.
Okay, another question we had in here was, what program's the cheapest?
Well, right now the 3, right? Because it's only an admin fee for, well, Brewtech, you guys are too young for, so we have to take that one off. You have to be 21 for that one. So the 2 that would be the cheapest would be the $350 admin fee, which would be the machinist program and the unmanned systems.
And Alma asked, what company or school were you from?
Oh, I'm from MiraCosta College, and we're the Technology Career Institute under MiraCosta, which is the Community Education and Workforce Development Department in MiraCosta.
Yeah, so it's kind of like its own separate school.
I mean, we are not really. It's kind of like the CLC Community Learning Center. That's the
its own campus
side. Then there's the credit side, and then there's the not for credit side, which we're the not for. It's like 3 arms of most people think credit, right? And then I transfer and get my, degree of some sort, or I go get a job after my AA. That's one arm. The other arm is the non-credit, which is the CLC, and then there's our arm, which is the not for credit.
Yeah, and you're located on your own campus down in Carlsbad.
So we have classes in Carlsbad. Also, we have some classes at the Landis Recreation Center in Oceanside as well.
Okay. What is the projected pay if you are there for 5 years?
So that's going to depend on the program. So I'll kind of break that down. That's a great question. So something like machining, right? Once you get done with our machining, you're looking at anywhere from 17 to 19 per hour. Now machining has a very good projection. It's only time on the job, right? So a good quality machinist doesn't have to go back and get a degree of some sort. So after they've been machining 5 years, 10 years, and you become a good quality machinist, the time on the job is what's going to earn you more money. And once you learn how to start programming the parts, like it's called CNC programming, that's where the money really is. So after you invested time, you get some training, you get your foot in the door. After 5, 10 years, you're looking at making $70,000 to $90,000 just time on the job. Now, the engineering technician, they get out, our average pay is our average is 19, but it can be anywhere from 18 to 25, depending on experience. That does have a cap, right? As an engineering technician, I can maybe become the lead ET tech. I could then, be the head of the cell, but at some point that next level is an engineer. As an engineer right now, as the industry stands, you have to have a degree, right? So that's where you get your foot in the door in the engineering field. You start tapping into the tuition reimbursement, and you start slowly working your way up to get that 4-year degree, right? BMET is another example, like machining. Once you get the foot in the door, It's just time on the job, right? It's soft skills, time on the job. You're going to move up quickly if you have both of those things. And then at some point, they're going to start saying, okay, well, hey, what are you interested in? Let's go send you for imagery training. And then you'll start being able to get specialties under your belt that they'll actually send you for training, right? So it's not that you have to go back for a degree of some sort. Again, it's time on the job with the combination good quality soft skills. You're going to get promoted quickly, and then you can pick your specialties. The odd one out of all of this is unmanned systems, right? Unmanned systems is new. It's very drone driven, right? And right now it's more for like gig economy, right? So if I'm looking at getting into unmanned systems, I'm basically chasing contracts. How do I market myself? How do I then connect with the right people and networking to be able to get those drone jobs, right? Because what happens right now is the larger companies have not developed their own drone departments. They're still waiting for the FAA to figure out what they need to figure out before they start putting money into drone departments. So right now it's to smaller companies are getting these contracts, like from Amazon, for example. Now I can do my delivery and I'm doing it with this small company in this area. Now that company hires a bunch of people on, but when that contract's done, it goes away, right? And then you're chasing the next contract, right? So you have to be very driven in the unmanned systems world. You have to be very good at marketing, at networking. So if you're looking at unmanned systems, it really takes that special person. You got to hit the road and you got to hit it hard, and you have to network and market, right? Welding is time on the job as well. The better welder you become, the more choices you have, the more money in your pocket. That's a very lucrative career too. Hopefully that answers your questions.
Tim, did you have a question?
That was one of mine right there.
Oh, okay. Does anybody else have any other questions they want to pipe up with? Just unmic themselves and ask right now before we're going to run out of time here in about 4 minutes. But we do have still some time for questions.
I have a question.
Sure.
Which industry did you specialize in when you were in MiraCosta?
So I don't I just basically manufacturing in general, which is lands on my plate. So that would be the machining, welding, engineering tech, the BMET, the unmanned system, all fall on my plate. The other programs that I kind of touched on, like phlebotomy, vet assistant, real estate, that is on our front office, but the ones that are on my plate are the manufacturing side.
Any other questions out there? Okay. Well, I think that's going to do it for our group. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about MiraCosta TCI today. I do appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
If
And
there's
just
things
so
out there,
everybody,
remember, there's a variety of ones you can get in on right now that are tuition free. The rest of them, don't let the price scare you. The return on investment is there. You can call them up. They may be able to do something creative for you in terms of some grants and things like that too.
the other thing I suggest too, our doors are open for, small groups that are in their own household to be able to come and take a look at our programs. I know Stephen's been here, maybe some of you others have. Once you're here, it paints a better picture, I would say, right? You can't really explain what we do, but once you're here and see the equipment and see the hands-on portion of it, that's what tends to excite people. So whether you're a teacher, whether you're a student, if you want to take a tour of some sort, feel free to contact me and say, I'd like to, come by and see what you guys are doing, because our door is always open for our partners. Yeah,
and I've had students come down and take a tour on their own, and I make it a point of coming out at least once a year with a group of students. Not at the moment, but next year we definitely will have another group come down either once or twice, two sets.
Yeah, I've been there. It's a fantastic facility.
Thank you.
Where do you do the instructor dive class?
The instructor dive class is with one of our partners. It's a Scuba Temecula. So the classroom portion, the pool portion is actually in Temecula. Most of the other stuff, you're able to, you got to go where the water is. So wherever that is, wherever you're comfortable, you actually log your own. A lot of times you'll log your own dives. So once you get the classroom portion and the pool portion, and they kind of release you to the wild, you can go do your own thing, log those dives. Once you hit a certain mark, then you get to go to the other classes.
Cool.
I got married on underwater with a scuba gear and everything, and instructor. So you might
Cool.
take that career. You might end up like marrying people underwater.
Wow,
That's very cool.
It was really fun.
it's a career I did not know about.
Yeah, they did it. So it was
That's
interesting.
awesome.
All right, thank you, everybody. Everyone have a great afternoon. I will post this up to
Thank
the
you.
Canvas site and to the Google Classroom as well, and plus more information about MiraCosta TCI.
All right.
And Stephen,
Thank
I'll
you
send you
very
that PowerPoint too.
Sounds terrific. Thank you very much. Thanks,
Thank you
everybody,
both.
today.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a good one.